Bronny, you were locked in all week, and you said you would soak in the moment after the game. What will you remember most about tonight?
Just going up to that score set with my dad, checking in for the first time. That's a crazy moment I will never forget.
What if the future of the NBA isn't as bright as we've been led to believe? Under Adam Silver's leadership, the league has taken some questionable turns, and the latest headline-making arrival, Bronny James, might just be the straw that breaks the camel's back. With viewership dropping and the league seeming stuck in the past, it's worth asking, are we watching the slow death of the NBA as we know it? You will know in this video. Let's get started. And here comes LeBron James Jr., teaming up with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Together, they've made it possible for Tommy to run the first play of the game. When we talk about the biggest storylines of the 2025 season, one name takes the spotlight: Bronny James, the first ever Make-A-Wish NBA player. Now, at first glance, that might sound a bit harsh, but when you take a deeper look at Bronny's so-called journey, it's hard to ignore how every step of the way he's been treated like a Make-A-Wish candidate. Then came Bronny's debut. How did that go? He was thrown in for just 3 minutes, almost like an afterthought. He played poorly, barely made an impact, had a negative plus-minus, and was pulled off the court shortly after. Once again, it gave off serious Make-A-Wish vibes, a manufactured moment to satisfy a storyline. Now fast forward to Bronny's second game, this time against Cleveland. This is where the Make-A-Wish NBA player narrative truly hit its peak. Against the Cavaliers, down by 20 in garbage time, Bronny finally got his first NBA bucket, assisted by LeBron and celebrated by Tyson STS.
James, guarded by Tyson, steps back.
You'd think this was a monumental moment for Bronny James. You'd think Bronny had just hit a game winner in Game 7 of the NBA Finals to clinch a championship, but in reality, those were his first points, scored in garbage time with his team down by 20. And here's where it gets even more embarrassing for Bronny. After that game, where he scored just 2 points, the Cavaliers team and their management actually celebrated, cutting down the nets for Bronny's first NBA bucket. Embarrassing, right? What does that sound like? It has the feel of a Make-A-Wish fantasy, a storyline that seems entirely manufactured just for him. For the Lakers, this has all felt like a Make-A-Wish moment from the start. His draft, his debut, his first bucket, each one treated like part of a series of Make-A-Wish stories. And here's the extra layer when it comes to Bronny's so-called career. Criticizing him is off limits. Calling it a circus or a mockery of the game, that's forbidden in the mainstream media. You can't say a single negative word about Bronny James. Of course, it's not his fault he's being handled this way, but the media's constant attempts to shield him only prove the point. LeBron James has become one of the biggest running jokes in the entire league. And speaking of the league, the health of the NBA is in a pretty rocky place right now. For the past couple of years, they've been desperately searching for fresh stories and faces, season after season. But as of now, it's still the same old routine. The superstars of the 2010s, LeBron, KD, and Steph, still dominate the spotlight, with every storyline revolving around them. And let's be honest, whether you love or dislike these three players, KD, Steph, and LeBron, they're still the biggest draws in the game, getting the most headlines, generating the most revenue, and attracting the most viewership. Hey, look at that. Who says these old men don't still have it? For those players as individuals, it's pretty impressive. But when you look at the NBA as a whole, it's kind of embarrassing. And for Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, the one steering the ship, it's been a constant letdown. Now, credit to Bronny for one thing. He moves the needle, grabs attention, and pulls viewers to their screens. But much like eating dessert at every meal, the entire Bronny phenomenon is mostly empty calories and a fleeting sugar high. Give it 10 or 15 games, and this buzz will come crashing down in an instant. What Adam Silver needs isn't a Bronny James sideshow. He needs legitimate young superstars. And if you look back at that Cavaliers-Lakers game, it proves the point perfectly. Coming out of this matchup, what was the biggest story? The main headline? Was it Mitchell, Mobley, or the Cavaliers staying undefeated? Nope, it was Bronny James and his first bucket, scored while down by 25. That was the takeaway from this game. Let's be honest.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't.
It's hard to care. Adam Silver, as many know, is arguably the worst commissioner in professional sports by a wide margin. The reason is clear. Under his leadership, the NBA has experienced a significant decline in both viewership and popularity. The biggest problem for Adam Silver is glaringly obvious. There is no clear face of the NBA. There is no single player, duo, or trio that has the potential to carry the league into the 2030s. If we look back at previous eras, the transition of power was seamless. Who got the torch? Michael Jordan. The 90s ended and it seamlessly transitioned from Jordan to Shaq, Duncan, Kobe, and Iverson. The mid-2000s to early 2010, that was the Kobe-LeBron era. Then came the 2010s with LeBron and Steph, and now, even into the 2020s, despite being 35, it's still LeBron, Curry, and Durant, season after season. But looking ahead to the 2030s, who's that next compelling player or group that you'd confidently say, you're up next? Adam Silver's biggest failure as commissioner was David Stern's greatest triumph. Stern always knew the right moment and the right player to pass the torch to. But Adam Silver? He's clung to the LeBron, Curry, and Durant era for far too long, letting young stars like Edwards, Tatum, Luka, and Wembanyama fade into the background. Their potential undervalued all for the older stars, who still pull in the viewership. The future's here, old man. One of the biggest issues plaguing the league today. Nearly every team and superstar plays the same way. Sure, some outlier players stand out as exceptional, unique talents, but so many others seem to blend into one another. Their styles indistinguishable. Take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards, for example. SGA, a master of the mid-range, and Edwards, one of the best downhill drivers in the league. But this season, even they've shifted gears, jacking up an overwhelming number of threes. Edwards averaging 13.3 per game and SGA just over 8. Last year, Anthony Edwards took the world by storm. Why? Because he looked like Jordan 2.0 with the dunks, the layups, and even the mannerisms. At his best, Edwards was a relentless attacker of the basket. But this year, he's shifting more toward a James Harden-like style, settling for threes and launching 35-footers.
Team this year, but it's kind of changing now. Rudy's getting out there.
Edwards, an open look coming off the screen, and Anthony Edwards hits the catch.
Sure, Ant can knock down those shots. He's a solid shooter, but his real magic happens when he's driving downhill, throwing down dunks, and making jaw-dropping plays. Search your feelings. You know it's true. When you look back at the 2000s, you'll see just how many unique players there were. The NBA back then was something else. Just take a look at the superstar power forwards. Each one had a skill set that was as unique as it was impactful. Chris Webber, an all-around offensive juggernaut who could pass, score, and shoot. Kevin Garnett, a two-way monster and a defensive dynamo. Tim Duncan, the ultimate defensive anchor and low postmaster.
NBA Most Valuable Player Award, Dirk Nowitzki.
And then there was Dirk Nowitzki, also a power forward, but more of an outside shooter and finesse player who worked the perimeter like no one else. These guys all played in the same era and the same position, yet each brought something different to the table, creating a diverse, exciting style of play that was unmatched. That kind of diversity is what the NBA is missing today. And let's not sugarcoat it. The NBA's viewership is down. Opening night saw just 1.6 million viewers, a 42% drop from last year. Bucks versus Sixers, down from last year. Suns versus Clippers, also down. Even Spurs versus Mavs, yep, down too. The usual excuse? Illegal streaming. Sure, that's part of it, but let's be real, those same illegal streams have been around for over a decade. We're not comparing 2024 to 2004. We're comparing this season to last. Those same sites, those same free streams, were there last year too. If you want to fix the NBA, it's pretty simple. Stop jacking up so many threes, start playing some defense, add a few defensive rules to give defenders a fighting chance, and start pushing younger stars like Tatum, Edwards, and Luka to the forefront. It's time to say goodbye to the LeBron era and move forward. Our video is ending now. What do you think? Do you agree that Bronny James and Adam Silver have impacted the NBA in ways we didn't expect? We're eager to hear your thoughts and drop your comments below. If you enjoyed our deep dive into this topic, please like the video and don't forget to subscribe for more exciting content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
All the players selected tonight have their own unique story that led them here to the draft, a culmination of years of hard work and dedication. The draft, of course, is also an important night for our team.